Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakurasou here, coming at you guys with a Vayu Turbo Edison deck profile. If you guys don't know, I really do like Edison, and I finally actually made a physical Vayu Turbo deck, and I'm going to show you guys my build, explain a few of my choices, all of that. But before I do, if you guys enjoy Edison videos, make sure to smash that like button. That way I know to make more, and we're just going to get right into that. Subscribe if you're not already though, because I'm trying to do 1 to 2 deck profiles a month, as well as all my usual content. So I'm going to explain what this deck is before we get into it. So basically, you want to get cards into the graveyard as fast as possible to set up for big boss monsters like Dad and Chaos Sorcerer, as well as you want to dump Vayu and Sirocco in order to put big synchro summoned monsters on the board. This deck overpowers your opponent very quickly, and it has quite a bit of versatility. This deck, while it has some combos to it that are very cookie cutter, every duel is going to be very different because of the unique plays you have, depending on what cards you're in hand, what cards your opponent has, all that. So if you're looking for a deck that you can stick for a while and not get bored of, I would highly recommend this. And we're gonna get right into this. So first of all, you have 3 Vayu. So basically, what Vayu does right over here is you banish this card and a Blackwing monster from the grave, and you special summon a Blackwing Synchro, but its effects are negated. So all your Synchro Blackwings that you play over here are just going to be like vanilla beat sticks. So usually you're going to get one of your 2 copies of Sirocco in the grave. I've tried 3, and I didn't really like it too much because you want to get this in the grave, really. You don't really, I mean, if you draw it, it's not bad because since you control no monsters, and your opponent does, you can normal summon this without tributing, which is like cute, I guess, but then you have to use your normal summon for this, and then it's not in the graveyard, so you're not syncing Sirocco summoning yet. And you make your way up from 6, 7, 8. 3 Vayu are necessary because you could just keep abusing it with the Blackwing Synchros in your grave as well. For example, you can use Vayu in your level 6 Blackwing Arm Master to make your Black Armed Wing to make your Armor Master, for example. So you don't really need multiple Sirocco from what I've played it, but if you want to play 3, it is a choice. Now, since we are dumping into the graveyard, we have to play 2 Armageddon Knight right here, and then we also have to play 2 Dark Greffers. This is just to load up your graveyard. This card is very unique because if you have Dad and you have a level 6 or higher, you could just special this if you want to. Then discard a dark to send a dark to grave, and that's 3 darks exactly. Now, you do have some discard outlets, like you discard Vayu all the time, which is a reason why Wing Blast is also viable in this deck. Because you have discard targets, so the discard's whatever, and then you get the Foolish to Sirocco. So if you have a Blackwing card in hand, you discard that, send the other one, that's a free Synchro. You could also send Plague. There's a lot of things you could send this grave. It's not just the Blackwing cards. I also play 1 copy of Card Trooper. I like this card because usually they're not going to blow this up with like a Torrential or a Battle Trap. It's going to be destroyed by battle, which means I draw a card, but usually I'm able to beat over something in mill 3. So the card always will net me positive. As long as I don't have a ton of normal summons in my hand, I'm happy seeing this. It's completely fine. We also play 3 Ryko. Now, I know I have 2 gold rares and a super rare that's unlimited, so mismatching rarities, but I didn't know this, but fun fact, first editions of these guys are like 24, 25 bucks for starting for lightly played, and this card doesn't have like an ultra like all the other Electrum cards do, like how Lumina has like a couple ultras in Raw Yellow Mega Pack, and like Legendary Collection, same with like Wolf. If you're Lumina, you also have like a Lost Art. This guy just has 2 golds really, and that's it, and it's been years since the golds have printed, maybe even close to a decade. But basically, you flip this card, you pop a card, and well, you mill 3, which is, that's all you really need this card to do. And it's a light, which is good for Chaos Sorcerer. Plague Spreader, you want to get this in the grave as soon as possible. This helps you make whatever synchro you could possibly make, which is nice. Usually you go into a level 6 or a level 8, and there's some very strong synchros. And you can use it multiple times with another card I'm going to show you here. 1 Sangan, this searches me out what certain cards I need, like an Armageddon Knight, a Ryko. Just depends on situation. It's just a nice card to set. and kind of see what happens with. You got Spirit Reaper. This does come up because sometimes your opponent's board will be empty. They will have to deal with this card if they're going to discard a card because they're going to go -1 anyway. They can't wait to see if they can get rid of this card or not. It's very nice because you can just sit on this for a little while if you want to, or if you get the attack directly effect off, which I kind of do, and you can search for Sand again, they discard a card, which is really nice. So card advantage is very, very key in this format. Something I am testing out right now is 2 Cyber Dragon. The reason why I'm testing this out is because I actually know someone as in who likes to play machines, and I play a very cool tech in the side with Cyber Dragon where I could use one of their monsters essentially and a Cyber Dragon, so it's a 1-for-1, and I still have a card. So they're negging 1 for no reason, and then I have a monster on board, which is really, really nice here. And it's a free 21 special too, so you like beat over something. It's a nice card in general anyway, so. Double Chias, so I've seen a lot of Vayu Turbos run 3, and I despise 3, because this is a card where you want to just see 1 copy in the duel. You really don't want to see 2. Per se, but there's no way to search out, and it's a good card to have because you tribute this, gets rid of 1 card, and if it's a dark, 1,000 damage to your opponent. And it's a banish, which is really, really nice. That's a banish because that's very, very strong. You want to tribute something like your Vayu, or I mean, it doesn't really matter what you tribute at that point because if you could have used it for a better play, you would have already. But it's not bad. It's level 6. You can also plague and make us 8 with that, which is nice. Then you have your Gores, Tragodia, the Dark Arm Dragon, and Chaos Sorcerer. I actually really want to get a Turtle Pack version for this deck profile, but I wasn't able to in time, unfortunately. But Gores is really good because your opponent attacks directly when you don't have any cards, and you just drop this on them. Then you make a token. A lot of people don't even know what Gores does anymore, so I feel like I have to explain it. So you have a 2700 and then a token with whatever. It just puts bodies on the board, helps you not die. Tragodia is very, very nice because since you play a lot of levels, depending on your hand, you could discard one of those levels, take control of an opponent's monster. So it's a body on field where when you take damage, it can stop it. You might not be a fan of Tragodia in this deck. I personally tried 1 copy and I like it. If you don't like it, that's fine, but it is a Edison staple, technically. Chaos Sorcerer, you guys know what this does. You just banish a card on the field. It's really nice. And then Dark Arm Dragon, you're manipulating your grave a lot because Vayu's going to keep banishing itself with the other Blackwing monsters. Plague's going to banish itself. This card does become dead once in a while, sadly, because sometimes you load your graveyard with cards that you really can't banish / get rid of, and at that point you're just kind of screwed. So I've had this card sadly be dead, but it's just such a good card. And that is actually it for the monsters, the spells. Now I'm going to explain the one choice here because a lot of the spells and traps are very self-explanatory. So Burial from a Different Dimension, you target up to 3 banished cards and return them to the grave. So it's nice that it's up because this card's never dead. You don't need 3. And basically what this card lets you do is it keeps letting you put synchro monsters on the board that yes are vanillas but are big beat sticks for no reason as a special summon. It doesn't lock you into anything. It returns your plague. It's really what your optimal build is. You're going to want to return 1 to 2 Vayus. It just depends on how loaded your graveyard is with what Blackwing cards, but usually it's like 1 Vayu and then 1 Sirocco, but could be 2 Vayu, and then a Plague Spreader could be like 2 Vayus and a Sirocco. You guys get the point. And this card just helps you not only in the grind game, but to keep putting stuff going for game. It is an extremely good card. The only issue is you do not want to see it in your hand right away. If you can see this after you get the Vayu Turbo off once, well, you draw it, okay, well, I get to put a beater on board. You know, what? Cool. Brain Control, this is the Unarad one. You pay 100, take life of one of your opponent's monsters. Charge of the Light Brigade over here. To mill 3, then search the Ryko, MST. Allure here. Allure's at 1, mind you. MST's at 1. Heavy Storm is at 1. You got Rhoda. It just searches out what you need. So it's basically like playing a 5th copy of Armageddon / Dark Refer. And you get to choose what you need on the hand. So it's really nice to open up Rhoda instead of the other 2 because it also helps empty out the deck a little bit, which is really nice. For the traps, now I will explain one of them at the end here, but I play 1 Mirror Force because that's at 1, Torrential, 2 Bottomless right over here. for the traps. I'm sorry if the centering on this is really bad. I apologize. You play the Solemn Judgment, the one trap dust shoot right here. So a lot of people like the side trap dust shoot, but it's never bad. I mean, if I draw this and I just set it, I get, even if my opponent doesn't have any monsters to shuffle back, I get to look at their hand. I will always think this is a main deck card, no matter what. Just beautiful 1v1 and information card. Royal Oppression is at 2, so we play 2. You can value under this, by the way, so when you activate this, every player, whenever you get the special summon a monster, your opponent's going to keep negating it with Royal Oppression if it's your Royal Oppression or it's theirs, whatever, right? And it's usually going to be a grind game slash who gets most normal slash tributes, but with value, since it's like inherent, you can, when you special off value in the graveyard, so you Synchro summon like say a level 6, you know, Armed Wing, they cannot Royal Tribute it, and that's why this deck works, and that's why you would always play Royal Tribute. Call of the Haunted, you just bring something back. I don't really know how to explain it better. And then the 41st card, because there's 41 cards, I'm still playing with the ratios, so I actually might just cut it to 40, cut a Cyber Drag, I'm not too sure. But I like Scrap Iron Scarecrow in the main, and I'm going to explain why. Card advantage is everything in Edison. And a card that keeps reusing itself no matter what is always going to be inherently busted. What this card does is you just negate an attack. It's very simple. Your opponent does one attack, flip this, negate it, right? Thing is, it resets itself after activation. It's once per turn, so on your opponent's turn, they're gonna have to know one of their attacks, no matter what, is gonna be negated. What this card forces your opponent to do is they force the MST, or force the pop. Your opponent is going to have to use a resource to get rid of this. Otherwise, you are going to have protection on the field of some kind, no matter what. And if they have blown their back row removal, like my opponent already heavy stormed, and unless they see the MST, or they're playing, I don't know, like a Ryko pop for this, but then they have to use this, they're gonna have to deal with this immediately. I highly recommend trying this card out. If you mill it, it's unfortunate, but is what it is. And usually you're aiming for like one good mill at the very minimal when you like mill 3 or whatever. Synchros. All right, so you got 3 Armed Wing, 1 Arm Master, and 1 Silver one here. Now, if you want to play this build optimally, you are going to want to play 2 Armor Master, 2 Armed Wing, and 1 Silver one. The reason why I'm playing 3 of this is because I just do not have a second of this. So I would run to, basically you banish the Sirocco and the Vayu, that's 6, you make Armed Wing, right? Cool. Armed Wing goes to grave, and then you get Vayu in there, boom, you banish this and Vayu, you make Armor Master, because that's 6 and 1. You banish Vayu and Armor Master, whatever, for Silver Wind, boom. And they're all just 23 beat stick, 25 beat stick, and then this is 28. And this, since it's 28, beats over that, so I usually, if I don't have to, I usually try not to go into this. Burial is really good because it lets you just put you know 5 Synchros on board, so you'll be able to basically go through virtually all of it, which is nice, depending on how many values you burial. Synchros are very generic here. You have the 1 Armory Arm here, Magical Android if you need life, slash you just want to put a monster on board that is not Catastor. I don't make blind Catastor at all. I like to make Catastor for a specific problem. So if I don't need to make Catastor, I go to Android. It has more attack and it has the life point gain ability, which is nice. And then I save Catastor for when I need it. So it is optimal play too. Goyo Guardian, probably one of the best synchros in Edison by far. And you could probably even make an argument calling it the best. Basically, it is 2800 as a level 6, which is really amazing stats. Even 2k defense is nothing to scoff at. After you battle something and it inflicts damage, whatever, you special summon it in defense position. Absolutely nuts. Brio's very good. You know, you discard to bounce, which is really nice. So, just deals with problems. Black Rose, blow up the field. You make this with Plague and Sirocco, so this level 7 is used. It's funny because it has a second effect, and if you were playing Dandy Warrior, this would be very great to play because then, you know, you could banish the plant for the effect, which is nice. I don't even know if people know that Black Rose has a second effect. It's not great, but it just returns puts a defense position. You change one monster your opponent controls to phase of attack and reduce its attack to 0 until end phase. So, something. Level 8, you play Colossal Fighter. You have Warriors, remember, so this will keep coming back. It's a very good card to actually go into. It's usually going to be at least 2,900. To Stardust Dragon, very good for torrential that. Thought Roller Archfiend. If you need life and they just don't have many cards on the board and all that, you don't really have anything to be scared of at that point because they have to get rid of it with monster removal, so you'd make this specifically. And then we play the one copy of Chimera Tech Dragon. Like I said, I can make this with Cyber Dragon if they're playing machines, but the extract has a lot of room, so I like to play with a little bit of funk. See if I can have some fun that way. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Edison deck profile. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. I do want to do some more Edison duels because I think you guys would really, really enjoy that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.